Okay, welcome to tonight's chart focus. Going to have a look at 5 or 6 charts tonight. I will try and keep this brief. Please read the disclaimer before watching this video, and none of this is to be taken as advice and so on. Okay, first we'll have a look at the XJO, and at long last it's actually closed above that 200 EMA. I think it has once before in the last month or so, but certainly had many attempts and has failed on numerous occasions, as it has failed that 4300 level. So some encouraging signs there. I'd certainly like to see it break with some conviction and then maybe even dip and retest it to feel a little more comfortable, but it's something. Okay, let's have a look at a few charts. These have all come up on the price and volume scans that I have been trying to post on the website daily. This is Goodman Fielder GFF. Obviously a big gap here, bit of a sideways range, but a couple of higher lows in play, so possibly a nice swing entry was a couple of days ago there. Missed that, but big volume today, so that could be of interest. I'd probably take some Fibonacci's and throw them on there just to give some ideas of where we might find some targets. I'd often run the fibs from the gap up to the high, use that as a repeating range. Interestingly, that would have picked up that's a 50% retrace there, so it picked up the retrace beautifully. And if we look at some of those repeating ranges, maybe 82.5 could be of interest, which would also pick up this previous resistance there. So if that was to kick on, that's the sort of level I'd be looking at. Obviously, if you did get in here around here, you'd probably want to be out on a break of that support there if you were being tight, or maybe even back down at that one around the 65, and obviously position size accordingly. So that's GFF. Like I said, I'll try and be nice and quick tonight. Okay, WTF was their 12th birthday apparently, so Twitter kept telling me. They had $12 specials to all over the place. First thing you'd probably see there is a nice little triangle starting to shape. So I'm trying to find some trend lines. Okay, so some fairly obvious resistance along there. A bit of a triangle sort of a shape down this way. So getting to the pointy end now. A break of the triangle, and you'd be looking at the TAs will tell you a target of the depth of the triangle, and rather than looking for a target way back here, I'd probably be looking at this target depth here. So let's say 420 to 470 roughly. If it broke, that would give you up here around the 520 mark as a target. Again, we could rack some fibs on this one. See what we come up with that. So if we ran even the fibs off the 12 month high to the lows, see what that would bring us. Look at that, we're around about the 50 now, so that goes to show why there was so much resistance here. Gets through the 50, we might be looking at this one up here, which looks pretty much like a $5 mark. If you wanted to round that off, it's still a 30-cent target from here or so, so quite a nice target for a first target. Stops, probably if you're tight below there, and again obviously position size accordingly, which is always really important. I can't go on about it enough. Okay, BTU is the next one. Looks like a nice swing. Series of higher lows here. Again, I'll try and throw a quick trend line on there. It's pretty obvious. I really don't have to draw it for you to be able to see that trend line. I'll probably run that descend in the wrong spot. Pull that down there. I really don't think trend lines need to be exact, but that's pretty close to as exact as you could get. It's bounced off this line quite often. Barely got onto the price and volume scan. Not a huge volume there, but if that volume kicks on as we start to bounce here, obviously around this 80-81 mark would be the key res. There's also some res there, so there's quite a few res levels to get through, but even there you've got a 4 or 5 cent upside there, up to a 10 or 12 cent upside there, and again you could run fibs on that. You could use this as a triangle basically from there to there, take this distance here as a bit of a target. So any number of approaches you could to get some ideas of a target. Those of you who know how I trade regularly, I don't have any set targets in mind usually. I just take profits when I feel momentum has waned. So, but I do use the methods I'm showing here just to get some ideas of where I might take some profits off the table if I am in fact in profit. Right, hog. This is one I'm in. It's broken this downtrend. Hawkley Oil and Gas. I think just the fact that it's got oil and gas in the wording, it's got to be a positive at the moment. It's probably one of the hottest sectors I've seen in a long time, the oil and gas sector, and it's got to end sometime. It's certainly powering along at the moment. Okay, so we've broken this downtrend here, broken through the 200 EMA yesterday, and volume kicked in at the bottom, and now starting reduced nicely here on that sideways consolidation, slight dip, and it's picked up really nicely again now. So if you weren't already in, obviously this 24 high from today would be your first target, but I'd almost be tempted to go back to the weeklies here to look for some targets. It's not often I look at weeklies, but where we're in a position where we may be at the beginning of a run, if we can kick on, I think sometimes it is worth looking at the weeklies for some idea of where we can go. So this is a hog weekly. Throw some fibs on that one maybe. Fibonacci's. Alright, let's run it from the top. Back to that low there. Okay, that gives you some ideas. So 27.5, 28, probably that is 29, somewhere around there. Picks up a little bit of that resistance and support area. Again, none of these are exact numbers for me, they're just zones. I tend to take this 38 to 62 as a zone for targets, but that would be where I'd start to look for signs of any upside movement waning. If it starts to wane before, I'll certainly take it off the table before as well, but that gives some ideas of where I would be looking at. Okay, one more. We're up to 7 minutes, so I'll just squeeze one more out and that'll do me. And I think I will do MCE. Okay, that's a weekly. Pretty crazy to think that back in 2011 this thing was 10 bucks and it's now not even 4, but pretty impressive looking chart. Now at least it's broken this downtrend, long period of tight consolidation, and now starting to run. We'll pull out to the end of daily. High low looks to be in play here. Some consolidation. I'd probably be looking at that candle right there, which is 362. We closed at 360 today and hit 362, I think. So right on this short-term resistance. Break of that, and obviously we'd be hopefully up after this 382, especially if some more volume kicks in. And then again, if you wanted to, you could throw some fibs on this just to give an idea of some more targets, even if you maybe went from that high there. Take it down to the low. And interestingly, the 475 picks up the resistance there and the support there, so it looks a fairly obvious area for some resistance. You'd probably want to look at that point there as well. But plenty of upside. Your downside risk depends again on your time frame. For me, I'd probably be looking at a break of that little support there, so 337 break. Now that's 25 odd cents away, so it's a fairly decent downside, but if you're in that for a longer term, probably be no problem giving that much downside because there's plenty of upside. For me, if I was looking at shorter term, I'd maybe even go to an hourly chart, which is that's an hourly over a month, I think, and there's some obvious support here at 345, and a little bit of support up here at 353. So if I was being really tight, I'd probably set a stop under there, but in this case 350 is obviously some support there as well, so I'd probably tend to give this a bit more space and take a smaller position, give myself a little bit more room to move. Alright, that'll do me for now. I'll try and get another one of these up and running tomorrow. Remember, you can sign up for more videos online at our website www.cfdtradersedge.com.au. There's also free subscription as well, where you'll get access to the blog and other features as well. Thanks guys, bye.